G'day folks, it's Cortezerino, and today I'm going to show you how to build my dustless multi-item sorting system. Did I say dustless? I'm going to say that again. It is dustless. There is no redstone dust in this at all. And that's important because flashing redstone dust causes lots and lots of lag. And of course, this storage system is completely automated. And I like to call this the Cortezerino item sorter. This is original, and it's quite unlike most systems you've seen before. So for many years now, I've been a big fan of Nembon's multi-item sorter. I've built it many times. The problem is, gosh, look at that redstone. It is rather big, isn't it? So I think you can immediately see the benefits of this design. You can fit it into a much smaller area, and it's very light on resources. So I'll give you a very quick explanation on how this works. So that storage system is made up of individual modules that look like this, and these work completely independently of each other. So basically it is a multi-item per chest item sorter. So you see I've got every slot in the chest filled up with different items. So I can put them into the input chest down here. And this thing fires up. So the torch tower powers the silent dropper item elevator, which takes everything to the top. And the torch tower also powers these copper bulbs. And they send signals to the comparators, which lock and unlock these hoppers, allowing items to come into the chest. And if you'd like a little bit more detail on the workings of this and how you can use it, down in the video description you can click on the link for this video, and I go into quite a bit of detail on all the good stuff you can get up to with this design. And I do recommend that you go and watch that video so you can better understand what we are doing today, because we are going to be optimizing this. So if you watch that video, you'll learn how to build that module, and you'll learn how to build a whole bunch of them side by side. But when we build this storage room, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of little add-ons that you can do. So you can build exactly what I've got here, or you can make your own design and just use the features that I'll be showing you. And if you go down to the video description, you can find a link to a list of materials, and that will contain everything that you need to build what you can see right here. So this is the version with the lamps, and then just attached to that list will be the extra items you need if you want to build this flushing system. So if you're enjoying the video so far, guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let's get on with the tutorial. Okay, we're going to begin by building the floor for our storage system. And this floor will be 11 blocks by 21, and you can decorate this however you like, although I'd probably recommend saving the decoration until after the storage system is finished. So this longer side right here is going to be the entrance to our storage room, and we want to put walls of chests on the other three sides. So I want you to come along to the right-hand side, and starting in the corner, we're going to place a stone block there. And we'll place one every second block, and then in between these we are going to place sea lanterns, and you can come along to the left hand side and do the exact same thing. And once those are in, come along to the back, and once again starting at the edge of our original platform, we're going to place a stone block, and we'll do one every second block and then put our sea lanterns in between. And these sea lanterns mark where our chests are going to go. There's going to be a chest on top of each of these. All right, now we're going to build some temporary platforms for us to build the item sorter on. So I want you to come along to the left-hand side, and starting underneath this stone block in the corner, we're going to build down 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then we're going to come across 1, 2, and then grab your platform block, 1, 2, 3 of those. And this can be dirt if you want to. We're probably just going to remove it later. Now we're going to build this across 10 blocks in total. So we've already got our first block. We're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And we're going to do that for both of these. So this is a 10 by 3 platform. So then you can come along to the back wall, and starting at the stone block in the corner, we'll do the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4. we'll come across 1, 2, and then we'll do our 3 blocks and build an identical platform. And so I'm building this up in the air. So if you were building this on flat ground, you would be digging down to that level. So once we've got that platform in, we're going to do an identical platform right next to it. So I might change the blocks so it's a bit easier to see, but this one is also 10 by 3. And once you've done that, come along to the final wall. And once again, starting at this stone block in the corner, so not the one at the front, the one at the back, we will come down our 4 blocks again and across 2, then 3 blocks, and you know what to do. Go ahead and build your platform. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and remove those blocks. So we've got 4 identical platforms now. So what I build on one, I want you to copy the exact same thing to the other platforms. So we'll start at this one on the left. What I want you to do is put your back to the storage room. And we're going to start with this block. We're just going to knock that out and replace it with your building block of choice. And we'll put another one right in front. Then we're going to skip a block and do the same thing and keep doing that until you run out of room. Then I want you to grab some dirt and we're going to build up 1, 2, 3 from this corner. Then break those and we're just going to build 10 dirt all the way along just like that. So the same length as our platform. Then starting underneath the dirt on the end, we're going to look up, place an observer block, and we'll do that every second block until we run out of room. Then we're going to break this one and place another observer block, and we're just going to continue to do that just in the gaps between the first observers that we placed. And then underneath that top observer, we are going to place our building block of choice, and then you can go ahead and remove all of that dirt. Then we're going to look down at these blocks we placed earlier. We're going to place a comparator right there leading into the block in front. And we're going to do that on each of those. And then in between our comparators, we are going to place 5 sea lanterns. And that's just going to control lighting updates so we don't get any lag. So then if we're looking at our platform this time, we're going to place a redstone torch on that side of the block. So we'll do it there. Again, and once more. So that's how you should look when you're done. Go ahead and build that on each platform. And that's how the back 2 platforms will look. So we've just built the same thing side by side, so it's the same pattern going all the way along. So once again, what I built here, copy to every platform. So we're going to be looking at the floor of our storage room, grab some comparators, and we're going to place 5 of them on top of the top observer block. And then we're going to look in the opposite direction, and on the bottom observer block, we are going to place another 5 comparators. Then look down here. On top of the sea lantern, we are going to place a redstone repeater, and it's going to be on a 3-tick delay. So put all of them on 3 ticks, and then just in front of that, we are going to place blocks on top of these torches. Okay, grab some waxed weathered copper bulbs. So we're using the waxed ones because they put out a very low light level. It's the same light level as the redstone torches, so it's very easy to control the lighting updates by just placing extra lights like our sea lanterns. So what I want you to do is come down the bottom here, and we're going to place one of these bulbs just behind each of those comparators. So we're placing 5 in total. And if you accidentally power one of the bulbs like this, you just want to make sure it is turned off. If it's on, the machine won't work. So all of these need to be turned off when the storage system isn't running. Okay, we're going to place a torch on this block right here that's in front of our repeaters. So what I want you to do is to look at the floor of your storage room, and we're going to place the torch on this side of the block. So I'll place 1 there, then 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then on top of each of those torches, we are going to place our building block of choice. And then if you put your back to our storage room, we are going to place a torch on this side of the block. And then starting on top of this torch right here, we're going to place a line of blocks. And this will be 10 blocks in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So you should finish at the edge of your platform. So now we're going to place our dropper towers, and the first tower is going to go right here. Well, the first dropper is right next to the bottom comparator, and this dropper is facing up, and we're going to place 8 in total. So we've already got 1, we'll go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do that behind each of these comparators. So it's the bottom comparator we are looking at. Just go ahead, whoops, that was too low. Just go ahead and build up all of your dropper towers until they are 8 blocks tall. Okay, we're going to start placing the hoppers into our towers. So just remember, if we're looking from the front of the storage room, we're going to put our items in on the left and they're going to travel around in that direction. So these first hoppers we place all need to be following that line. So we're going to come down to here, and into that second dropper, we're just going to place a hopper like that. So we're at the bottom droppers here, and the hopper's pointing in that direction. So we'll go second hopper, 3, 4, and then the 5th one, you'll need to place a temporary block there so we can lead our hopper into it. So on the next section, your hopper will be going right there. So once you've placed those ones in, we are going to hold shift and place a hopper leading into the edge of that comparator. So it's a sideways hopper, basically leading into nothing. You can see where the arrow is pointing. Now what I want you to do is put a temporary block just behind that sea lantern, and we're going to build these all the way up, and then into the sides of these temporary blocks, we're going to place hoppers leading into them, 6 in total. So we're doing that rather than putting in our double chests, just because we want to be able to test if the system is working when it's complete, and that's easier to do if we don't have a bunch of chests there. So just do 5 rows of these hoppers. So we've started there. The final one will go right here. So just go ahead and build all of these. And once you've finished, you can go ahead and break your temporary blocks. So I'll give you another look at what this looks like so we can see if we're looking from our storage room floor. The hoppers are just to the right of each of our dropper towers. So just go ahead and do that all the way around. Okay, we'll get back to our redstone. So come along to the back right here, and we're going to place torches on this long line of blocks, and they are going to be just above this block right here. So we're going to place a torch every second block, just like that. And then in the same spot on the opposite side, we're going to place 5 more torches, and you'll hear your droppers click. Then looking from this direction, we're going to place our building block against the hopper, just up on the diagonal from this line of blocks. So we're going to place 5 of these in total. And then looking in this direction, we are going to place 2 comparators, just like that. Okay, grab your building blocks again, and we're going to place 1 on top of each of these 5 torches. And then you can come around to this side, and we're going to place a torch on the sides of each of these blocks. And then starting on this side where we've got the dropper tower right on the end, we're going to place a block on top of that torch, and then we'll place 9 more beside it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then you can grab your torches again, and just above where this block is, we're going to place our torches, so 5 on that side, and then in the same spot on the opposite side, we'll place 5 more, and you'll hear your droppers click again. Alrighty, now we're going to need a light block that will conduct a redstone signal, so you see the redstones passing through it. So sea lanterns will not work for this, but you can use jack-o'-lanterns or you can use shroom lights, but I'm going to use a frog light for mine. So we're going to come along here, and against this torch at the back, we are going to place a block on top of each of these. And then on the opposite side, so we're putting our back to our droppers now, we're going to put a redstone torch just on the side. Then we're going to look at our hoppers, and holding shift, we're going to place a block against each of these hoppers, and then grab your comparators, and we're going to go 1, 2, just like that. So do that 5 times. Okay, if we're looking at our storage room, come along to the frog light on the end, and we're going to place a block on top of that redstone torch, and we'll place 9 more beside it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then above our frog lights, we're going to place 5 redstone torches, and then we'll place 5 more on the opposite side, and you'll hear your droppers click. You're probably noticing a pattern here. We're just building the same thing over and over. Then we're going to look at our hoppers, and we're going to place a block against each of those. Then grab your comparators, and we'll place 2 just like this. Okay, then just above our frog lights here, we're going to place a block on top of each of these redstone torches, and then put your back to the storage room floor, and we're going to put a torch on the side of these blocks. And then starting on the torch that's just next to these droppers, we are going to place a block on top, and then place 9 more blocks beside it. Then looking from the back here, just above that block, we are going to place redstone torches. And then looking from the other side, we're going to place torches next to our droppers. Okay, grab some regular chests, and starting on that dropper just on the end, we're going to place a chest and then turn it into a double chest, and we'll do 5 in total. So anything that comes out of the dropper will go across and down the hopper. So now come around to the back here, and we're looking at this line of torches down the bottom. So just above our crisscross torches, we've got these ones. So starting right here, we're going to place a weathered copper bulb, and we're going to place 5 in total, just like that. And these are going to be 7 bulbs tall. So we've already got 1. We're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we finish next to that torch, and you can do that for each of these. And now we need to power some of these. So what I want you to do is just put a button here, power that one. We'll do the one next to the frog lights and the one up here. So these will all be powered at the same time, but when they do, these ones that are on right now will all turn off, and the ones that are off will all turn on. So it's very important for getting this system to work. So just go ahead and continue this pattern all the way along. And when these bulbs are flashing, we don't have to worry about lighting updates because the frog lights are preventing any of that from happening. Okay, you should have all of your platforms built up now. We are going to change from here. So before we were building the exact same thing on each platform, but now we're going to start doing things a little bit differently. So look over at our first section right here. Just on the end of this section, we're going to build another little platform. So put your building block of choice right there, and then just place 5 dirt around it. So we're basically extending this platform, and we're going to build 1 more of these modules, but without the dropper tower. We just want the torch tower. So items leaving here will continue to power these lights as they go, and that will suck the other items that are trailing along behind. That'll suck them along with them, so we don't have any items left in the system. So we're going to build one on the end of that line. This line here where we've got them both joined together, we only need to build 1 on the end. So come along here, put your building block of choice and 5 dirt, and then come along to our final section. And you guessed it, we're going to do the exact same thing, just extending that platform. So first thing we're going to do is place a block of dirt next to that observer block. Then put your back to the storage room floor, and we're going to come underneath and place an observer block right there with another one looking up right beside the dirt. Then you can break that block of dirt, and then looking in this direction, we're going to place a comparator on our building block, and we'll place a comparator on top of this observer. Then you can place your copper bulb underneath. We'll also place a block underneath this observer block. And now we're going to look toward our floor, and we're going to place a comparator facing in the other direction from the first 2 we placed. And grab yourself a sea lantern, and we're going to place it right next to that comparator. And then in front of the comparator, we'll place a block with a redstone torch on the side. That torch will have a block on top with another redstone torch, and then a block on top of that torch. Then we can grab a redstone repeater, put your back to the floor of our storage room, and we'll put the repeater on top of the sea lantern and put that on a 3-tick delay. And then you can look up at this block right here, and we're going to place a torch on that side of the block. So it's just pointing toward that comparator. Then just above the torch, we're going to place 1, 2 blocks just like that. And on each side of the first block we placed, we're going to place a torch. So 1 there and 1 on this side. And you'll notice that one just powered the bulb. So you can break the torch, place it again, and now that bulb has turned off. So we want to keep that pattern that we've got going there. And just next to the torch, we're going to place another copper bulb. And now we're going to build our torch tower. So you can start with a block right there and another one. And then we'll place a torch underneath there and one on the side, and you'll see it's powered the lamp. So we'll place it again. Then we're at the level of our frog light. So we're going to place a frog light on top of that torch. And then we'll do 2 more blocks like that. Might as well put the third one up the top as well. And we'll just place our torches. So 1 on the side, 1 here, but it'll power the light, so you need to do it again. Then 1 on this side and 1 up the top right here. And once again, replace it just like that. And then you can go ahead and break the 5 dirt blocks because we don't need them anymore. Okay, now that we've built the extra torch tower in all 3 sections, we're going to put in our input and output chests. So turn to the left and we're going to come along here. What I want you to do is grab a hopper and just hold shift and lead it into the side of that bottom dropper. And then looking in this direction, we'll do a hopper leading into that, and you can put a composter on top of the first one we placed just to prevent a little bit of lag. And then grab this sea lantern, knock it out and move it down 1 block. And then right here, we're going to put in a trapped chest. Now we're using a trapped chest, so when we put items in, they don't automatically flow out, because one of the only things that can break this sorting system, other than leaving the area while it's running, is putting in a single item at weird intervals. So if you keep doing that, you could eventually break it, and the trap chest just stops us from breaking it. And then each side of the trap chest, you may want to just put in a bit of flooring like that, so it looks a little bit nicer. And then to be able to reach the chest, we'll knock out the block in front, look in this direction and put a right way up stair. So now we can easily access it. So that's that input chest all done. But I want to do a second one for this back wall over here, because, and we'll also do one for that wall over there, because you might be fiddling around with some items here and you know they all go back into that section. There's no point putting it into this input chest because it's just going to take forever to get there. We want another input chest over here. So what we're going to do is basically the same thing. We're going to put a hopper into that bottom dropper with 1 on the side, and you can put a composter on top of the first one. Then we're going to move the sea lantern down 1 block. We'll put in our trapped chest, and I might replace the floor right there because it'll be visible. And then we'll put in our oak stair. And then finally over here, just in the same spot, we're going to put our hoppers again, composter. I think you know what to do now. Just go ahead and put in your input chest. Okay, we've got our 3 input chests all ready to go. Now we want to put in our output chest, and it's going to be where this final sea lantern is. So we're just going to move the sea lantern down 1 block. And this time, this can be a regular chest. There's absolutely no reason to put a trapped chest in there. So I'll look from this side, we'll put in our stair, and I'll just extend the floor a little bit. But at this time, we're just going to put a hopper into that side of the chest, and you can put a composter on top, and we will connect that in a moment. Okay, now we're going to link all of our storage systems together. So we're going to come to the end of this first section we built, and you can see down the bottom we've got the hopper here ready to take all the items out of this section. What I want you to do is look at that hopper from this side and just place a dropper facing sideways like that. Then grab your hoppers, look to the next section, we've got our hopper right there. Just into that we're going to place 1, 2 and 3 hoppers. And then 1 in this direction, just leading from our dropper. And you can grab composters and put them on top to reduce some lag. Now we're going to come along to the end of this section, and we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start with a dropper right there, Then we'll do our 1, 2, 3 hoppers leading into that hopper. And from this direction, one right there with our 4 composters. Then come along to our output chest, and this is going to be a little different. So we're placing the dropper against that hopper again, but this time it's going to be facing straight up, and then the next one's going to be facing into that hopper like so. Okay, now we're going to test our system to make sure it's working correctly. So just grab a single chest, and anywhere where you want to, just place it against one of these hoppers. And you can grab 32 items, and we're just going to fill up every slot in the chest with those items. So you got 5 left over. And now we're going to feed stuff into the system. So into this input chest, we'll put those 5 just to see if they enter that chest like they're supposed to. And then grab 16 items. Make sure it's 16. And that is enough items that it won't be able to find a single spot in the system because we haven't got any chests. So all 16 should make their way to the output chest. And don't stress out if it doesn't work. Sometimes this will break because you've built one of the clocks a little bit wrong. So this is the clock here. You can see our repeater flashing and it goes through the torches over to this comparator. The observer picks it up, sends the signal back to our repeater. So if this thing breaks, if it doesn't work, the problem is with your clock, guaranteed. And you'll be able to find the problem because you'll have one of these lights just stuck on, and then you'll look up and find items in the dropper. And so let's say you had these first 3 or 4 lights on, and then they're all off after that. The final light that's turned on, that's probably the one where the problem is. So that clock will break all the other clocks in front of it when it breaks. So just go to the final light that's on and double check you've got everything correct. You might have a comparator facing the wrong way or something. You might have this on the wrong delay. It'll be something like that. So I'll look up into my chest and those 5 items have found their way into the chest. So that is working correctly. So now we just have to wait to see if all 16 items make their way to the end, and you can see it's running right here, so our items are going through. So we'll just wait until they appear. Okay, our system is finished running, so we'll come along to the output chest and all 16 items made it through. So that means everything is functioning correctly. And don't be alarmed if you come around the back and you see all of a sudden we've got all these lights the same, but this one's different. You can see we've got 4 lights on instead of 3. That is completely normal. They will get out of sync, but as long as they are alternating. So we've got one on, then off, on and off. As long as that's all good, then you don't have any problems at all. If you have 2 lights that are on right next to each other, then you've got a problem and you have to get your buttons out and correct it. Okay, so as you could see by that test run, we could only tell that the system was running by coming around to the back. So what we're going to do is put in some redstone lamps out the front here, and they will tell us when each of these sections is sorting items, so we know not to leave the area, because leaving the area will break the machine. So what I want you to do is come along to the middle line of hoppers, so that's the 3rd one in, and just in front of that sea lantern we're going to place a redstone lamp, and we'll do the same over here. So come along to the 3rd line of hoppers, and we'll place in our lamp, and if we count in 1, 2, 3 hoppers, we'll place another one there, and then the next one goes right there. And then we'll go underneath and wire these up, and this will be the same for all 4 sections. Okay, so come along to our first section, and just below our copper bulbs, we're going to build out 3 blocks. So we're going to do this 5 times in total, and then we're just going to connect them like this. And then I want you to place 2 blocks in front of those bulbs, and 2 blocks in front of those ones, so the middle one does not have a block. Then what we're going to do is put our back to our blocks, and we're going to place 2 comparators there and 2 there, but for the middle one, we're going to place, this is a bit hard to get in, we're going to place our first comparator here, and then a repeater, and that needs to be on a 4 tick delay. That just means when our bulb is flashing, the repeater won't flash, it'll stay powered. Then we'll put a block in front of each of our comparators and in front of the repeater. And just above this middle block, we're also going to place another block right there. So now grab redstone repeaters again, look toward the middle, we'll place 2 like that. They will be on 4 ticks delay. And then over here, we're going to place 2 more, once again, looking toward the middle, and they will be on 4 ticks delay. Then we'll put a torch on the middle block and a torch right there, and you can see it powered our lamp. So now whenever one of those 5 lamps is flashing, it's going to turn on our lamp. No need to do it for this single one on the end. And when you're done, you should look like this. So we've got another one underneath that lamp, and then a completely separate one right here underneath that lamp. And once again, no need to wire up that final one. And then here's our last section. But on the very last section, we do want to wire up our final lamp. So what we're going to do is build 2 blocks across and 2 in this direction. We'll put a block up there and put a comparator facing away from that block. That will lead into a block, and then we'll put a repeater there on a 4 tick delay. And now if you want to, you can go ahead and break all these unnecessary blocks in here. And you can also break these platform blocks. We don't need them anymore. And I'll just give you a few tips for maintenance for this storage system. Just in case you ever leave the area while it's running, I'll show you how to tell if you've broken it and how to fix it. I do it all the time. I always leave the area. I know I shouldn't, but it happens. So you want to have access to this area down below, and you just look at these lamps down the bottom and just check that all of them are turned off. If they're all turned off, then you're all fine. But you may find one that's turned on even though the system isn't running. So if that happens, just look in the dropper up here. So it's the bottom dropper of our dropper tower, and you'll have some items stacked in there. Just take them out. And if the lamp doesn't turn off by itself, then you can just put a button here and turn it off manually. And it's also a good idea to turn it on and let the droppers just click away like this for a little while, just to make sure there are no items stuck in the dropper item elevator. And then you can turn it off when you're sure that it's all clear. And the system normally doesn't click like that, guys. It's completely silent. But just when you're fixing it, that is what you do. Take items out of the dropper and make sure your lamps are turned off. Okay, so the storage system is all done, but you may want to build the optional flushing system. So because each of these modules is self-powered, once it runs out of items in the dropper item elevator, it will stop sorting so you can get items left over in the hoppers. What the flushing system does is, like we did earlier in our test, it sends through 16 items that don't have a spot to enter, and they will go through the entire system and end up in our output chest. And so any items that you have stuck in the hoppers will all be cleared out and they'll be sorted. So there is a high-tech version and a low-tech version. We're going to do the low-tech version first. So come along to our input chest here, and we've got our hopper here with the composter on top. What we're going to do is put another hopper leading into that hopper. Now just below that, we'll do a temporary block with a block on the side, break that, and we'll put a torch right there so that hopper is now locked. So then you can break the block above, we'll put a barrel on top, and then you can fill it with named items. So I've named all of these sorting system, so they will not find a spot in our system and they will end up in the output chest. So now we just have to rig this up so it will let out 16 items at a time. So we're going to put another block just on the side there with 2 redstone dust on top. Then come around to this side. Here we're going to put 1, 2 blocks, and here we're going to put 1, 2, 3, and then we'll put a block just there next to that torch. So now grab some comparators. We're going to look at that block, place 2 comparators like that, then look in the other direction, place 2 more comparators with a piece of dust right there. And yes, this is the only bit of dust in the dustless multi-item sorter. This isn't actually part of the sorting system though, so it's not flashing when it runs. We're going to press a button, it'll turn on, then it'll turn off, and that is it. So don't crucify me for having 3 bits of dust. So now come along to this block here, just in front of our barrel, and you can place a stone button. And you're not going to see the barrel because we will have blocks built up on each side there, so you can just see it to see how many items you have left. But now what you can do, I won't do it, but if you press the button, this pulse extender will turn on, which will turn off the torch just long enough that 16 items will flow into the system. It may look like 17 at first, but one will be stuck in the hopper down below. And that should just do a full loop. And then all you do is every now and then when you notice you've got a lot of those items hanging around in your output chest, you can just pick them up and bring them over and put them back in the barrel. And now I'll show you how to build the same thing, but this is the high-tech version. So when you press the button to send the 16 items through, a minecart will go along to the output chest and bring the 16 items back. So you never have to move them yourself. So the first thing I'm going to do is just actually extend this floor by one more block, just so we've got room to do the building. Okay, we're going to start the same way as we did before. So come along to the input chest where our composter is above the hopper, and we're going to place a hopper leading into the side of that. Then we'll put a block right here with a torch, so it's locking that hopper. We will put a block beside that with 2 dust on top. Then come around to this side, we'll do 2 blocks there and 3 blocks here, and then a block there next to that torch, and we can do a piece of dust. Then looking at that block, we'll do 2 comparators in that direction, and then 2 comparators in the opposite direction. But this time we're going to place an extra hopper just into the side of that one, and then we'll put an extra block right here with some dust, because this time our stone button is going to go right there. And make sure it's a stone button and not a wooden button. Okay, come along next to this hopper we just placed and hold shift and place a block right beside it. And we're going to place 2 more on the diagonal. So one will go next to that lamp, and then the other one will go right there. Then I want you to place 1, 2, 3 blocks like that. Then come around to this side and we'll build out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then place an extra one there, and you can start a line out like that. So then we're going to place a powered rail on top of the hopper, then a regular rail, 2 powered rail, 2 regular, then powered rail up to the end here, and 2 regular to turn the corner. And then to power all of these, I'm going to place a lever right there and switch it on. So that powers that line and the one below. And then we're just going to build this line of blocks out until we finish beside that block right there. Now grab some regular rails, and we're going to place 2 just like that. And you can break that sea lantern, it's just going to get in the way. Now there's a repeater right there. On top of that, I want you to hold shift and place a block, and that will have a powered rail on top. And then just behind the powered rail, we're going to place a block. So our minecart is going to come to rest on top of that powered rail right underneath our output chest. So now we can place 2 more powered rail like that, and then we'll put a detector rail, and I'll have to come around to this side. So next to the detector rail, we're going to go 2 blocks in that direction, and then turn the corner and place 2 right there. On top of the corner block, we'll place another block, and then you can break that and grab a repeater, look in this direction and place it. And that will be on a 4 tick delay, and then look in this direction, do 2 more repeaters, and they will both be on 4 tick delays. So when our minecart travels along here, it's going to hit that and power those repeaters. So it'll only sit under here for a moment before it's sent back, so that's enough to collect, I think, 17 items, but we only need it to collect 16. So now grab your powered rail again, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. On the 9th one, we will grab a lever and power it. And then all you need to do is run your powered rail all the way over. If you don't have much powered rail, you can stagger these. They don't all need to be powered like that. You can use some regular rail if you want to. And I forgot one lever. So just over here, we've got these 2 powered rail. We just need to power those, so you can place a lever in here and turn it on. And that is ready to go. So now we're going to come over to here, and just on top of this hopper, we're going to place a hopper minecart. Make sure it's a hopper minecart. And now we need to program this system. So you can see in my hotbar here, I've got 2 lots of 4 items, and I've just named these so they don't enter any of our storage system. You probably don't need to name them, but I've done it just in case. So I've got 4 stone blocks that I've named number 1 and 4 cobble blocks that I've named number 2. And then we've got our 3 stacks of sorting system items, and these you definitely do need to name. So come along to this first hopper that's underneath our redstone torch, and we're going to put 4 of our items in the last 4 slots, and then a full stack in the first one. Then come along to the hopper underneath the minecart, grab your other 4 items, put them in the back 4 slots, and then we'll put a stack right there. And just to test this, I'm going to come along here to our output chest, and I'm just going to put 16 items in there. And you can see I've got some other stuff in there. I'm just going to show how the minecart will only take out the sorting system items. They're the only ones we want them to pick up. So come along to your hopper minecart now. We're going to put a single item in the back 4 slots, and then the rest we'll put up here. So when I press this button, the torch will turn off and allow 16 items to go in, and they'll start flowing out of here. And then the hopper minecart is going to go pick up those. So we'll do that. Our hopper minecart runs along here. We'll stop for just a short amount of time before it heads back. And as you can see, it's only picked up our sorting system items and not anything else. And it's back over here just refilling these items. So the best time to push this button is when you're not sorting anything. If you're just walking past your sorting system and you think, oh, I'm going to be in the area for a while, you can just press that and it will clean everything out. If you've just loaded this chest up with a bunch of stuff and then you press it, there's no guarantee that these items are going to be the last ones that go through. So you could still end up with some items stuck in your droppers. So if you're just putting in, say, half a stack of items, then by all means go ahead, press the button, and it should clean everything out. And now we're ready to start setting up our system. So what we're going to do is in each of these sections, we are going to have 5 lines of double chests. So you can just put them on top of our sea lanterns right here. And we are going to build these 6 chests tall. And for this, we are using trapped chests, because most of the time you're not pressing this button, so you will have items stuck in these hoppers. So when you open the chests, you don't want those items flowing in as soon as you take things out. And I actually like the idea of having trapped chests, because so often I am sorting things and I take stuff out and stuff I'm sorting comes in, and that's really annoying. But we don't have to worry about this here. And opening the chest does not break the system at all. A few items might back up in the hopper while you've got the chest opened, but as soon as you flush the system, all of those items will come through. The only bad thing that can happen is you might have a few items end up in our output chest that couldn't find a spot because you'd locked the hopper at the time that they were trying to get through. But yeah, that's all. So go ahead and put all your trap chests in. And this is how you should look when you're done. So now we've just got to figure out how you want to say what's in what chest. So there's this option right here. You can put a wall in between each chest with an item frame just beside the chest, and that will tell you what's inside. And in case you're wondering about this hopper minecart thinking it looks ugly, well, what you would do is actually build up the wall just above it so you don't actually see it. And you can do the same on this side. So that is a lot of item frames, though. It can cause a lot of lag, like they all add up. So I don't know, perhaps you just want to put one every now and then. So, you know, let's say that these are all stone varieties, and then these are all cobblestone varieties. Or to save on lag, you could do something like this. You can put the actual block next to the chest to say what's in that chest. I don't know though, it looks a little bit busy, and that's as far as I got before I got bored of doing that. I'm not sure if I like the look of that, even though it is a lot better for lag. But here's another way of doing it, which I think doesn't look too bad at all. It looks good enough that I actually went to the trouble of putting in all the blocks So in this one, I've actually got the blocks set one block back from the chests. I think it just looks a little bit less busy this way. And then for the top one, I've actually got item frames. So if you're looking at it from the edge here, you can see, oh yeah, my diamond blocks are over here, and you can come over and find all your different gems. So you don't have to be constantly stepping back to see where you want to go. Yeah, I think this one looks quite nice. Very colourful. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. And just remember, you can build this system exactly the way I did, or you can build it in any shape that you like. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.